All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's Raleigh, and as I think most of us knew, ArenaNet has given us a little preview, a video, and a studio update for the next release of Guild Wars 2. And I wanted to take the time today to look at that and give you guys my opinions, my thoughts, my theories on it. I did talk about that there was a video that I wanted to make, and I'm probably still going to be making it. I did watch the trailer that we got today. I don't even remember the name of the release now, but we'll see it in a minute. But anyways, so I just released a video yesterday for the history of the Titans. Because as far as we know right now for this expansion, the Titans are still the bad guys. I've done my theories on who could be behind the Titans and who's controlling them and stuff. But there's a particular detail in the trailer. I watched the trailer on my phone, because it's still early and I was still laying in bed and I'm like, oh, the trailer's out, which is super early because they usually do it at noon my time. But they did it at 9 o'clock my time this time. So I was like, okay. But anyways, so I was watching the trailer and there was a detail in the trailer where I was like, ooh, yeah, I definitely have to kind of talk about this and make a video on it. So one of the reasons why I did the history of the Titans video was that I think for this whole expansion, ArenaNet has done, many people can, or you, people have been pointing out the things that they've been doing wrong or whatever. But one of the things that I think they could have done better for sure is maybe explain the connection that the Titans have to just the world of Tyria. We don't really get the background. We do get for Guild Wars 2, for people that only play Guild Wars 2, we did get a little bit of background on the Titans, a little bit here and there, but I feel like we didn't get enough to really get a picture of what it means for the Titans to be part of the story of Guild Wars. And so I did the history of video because I realized that there's actually more to the Titans, or at least a little bit more to the Titans than people realize. And I think that with us potentially going into the Mists, to go to the Foundry of Field Creations and stuff like that, I think there's a little bit of there was a little bit of a lack of background, I think, and it may be a little immersion breaking to people because they didn't really understand the significance of what it means for the Titans to be back, right? So I made that video, but I still want to make a theory because I have an interesting theory still with ArenaNet giving us hints towards something else with the Titans a little bit. It's nothing crazy, but there is a little detail that they gave us. So I wanted to make a little video, and I don't think I was kind of waiting for today's trailer to see what is gonna happen, how I have to change my theory or the script that I already wrote out, and it doesn't look like they're giving us too much on that side. So anyways, so I wanted to kind of look at the studio update, the thing. I don't know what else. There's a whole blog post that they did. I don't know what else is in there. I literally only watched the trailer twice, and then I was like, okay, let me make a video. So I don't know too much about this. As always, I'm gonna be just looking straight at and this is super bright. I'm so sorry. Like I said, ArenaNet really needs to figure out how to make a dark mode for for their website because it's really bright. But anyway, so you're gonna see my face illuminated. Let's look at the studio Absolution. As the Repentance was the one that came out before, and that was a name that kind of escaped me as well. When I was writing my script too, I was I usually when I write my script and I don't have immediately the information in front of me, I'll just put question marks, and I kept using question marks. I'm like, how am I forgetting all of these names? But anyways, so let's look at the studio update here. It looks like it's pretty potentially pretty long. So they did give us a preview for the fractal. I didn't make a video on that because it didn't really feel like there was that significant of information. Um, and there's a train right on cue. It's every time I want to record, there's a train coming through town. Um, But yeah, so I didn't feel like it really justified me making a video with the little bit that they gave us on the fractal, because the fractal seems to be about the Kodan leaving the Shiver Peaks and coming to the lowland shore, or like that area or whatever. And you know, it seems to be about that because it's like it's the lowland Kodan, but it's in like the ice, in an icy area, and it really didn't give us like much else. There was like a couple of enemies that it showed, and that was about it. And I was like, I'm not gonna make a video on that because that seems kind of silly, self-explanatory. I don't think there was any details there. But this definitely does call for a video. So let's look at it, and I'll give you guys my opinions by the end of it. I'm gonna give you guys my little analysis of the trailer and what we can see. So anyways, studio update. Absolution launches, which is funny because ArenaNet used to do like they used to do blog posts for like the releases and stuff, and then they used to do like studio updates. It was like kind of separate, but now they've kind of combined all of the things together. Or did they used to call it something else? Where they were like kind of like giving us like background on ArenaNet. So I don't know if this is like including other things that are happening, but this seems to be very much just about, I don't know. I feel like this is just about Guild Wars 2, and we're really not getting... A lot of people are wondering about like what's going on with Guild Wars 3, what's going on with the expansion. I talked yesterday on stream about how we technically are getting a content drought, right? So like 5 months of no content for me in an MMO is kind of a content drought, because in that 5 months, we're gonna have some very important games come out and very important like releases, like you know, in other games, you know, like ESO is making a big release, and we're gonna have you know, Elden Ring Night Reign is coming out. We have Nintendo Switch 2's coming out with a bunch of stuff for that. There's like I'm sure there's like a plethora of other games that are coming out or whatever, you know. And you know, it's the middle of summer, and we're kind of um we're gonna be on a break. And I was kind of yesterday I was talking about how like the Wizard's Vault, like are we gonna get are we gonna have 5 months of the same stuff in the vault? Like, is it not gonna change at all? Like, I kind of have some questions. So we'll see if they give us hints. There's a roadmap on the bottom to kind of see what the you know, I don't know if they're planning ahead for the next 5 months. You know, is the birthday on there? What, you know, I don't know. Like, we do know that there's festivals coming, but we technically, I mean, we've done those festivals for so many years now. It could be nice for new people, but for veterans, you know, this is kind of like, okay, it's the same festivals. It doesn't really bring people back. So it's a little scary right now because, you know, not having 5 months of content can be kind of devastating to like a live service game like an MMO like this. So we'll have to see. I don't want to be a doomer, but I do want to kind of lay that out to people, and kind of maybe people haven't realized that we're getting 5 months of a break. So anyways, let's just read this and let's see, and I'll give you guys my thoughts at the very end. So studio update. Absolution launches June 3rd. Greetings, Tyrians. The final chapter of Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds arrives on June 3rd with Absolution, a climactic update that plunges deep into the haunted heart of Mersat history. Journey into the ruins of Bavanissos and uncover the truth behind the rift that still threatens Tyria. So the rift, talking about the Mistgate, right? We've been hearing about this Mistgate forever now. Okay, we know that it's sitting in the Bavanissos, like inner Bavanissos. So just so you guys understand, Mistburnt Barrens was just the outside of Bavanissos. We know that the actual inside, like inner city of Bavanissos lies within the mountain that like Mistburnt Barrens is kind of like right attached to, right? Like there's that big, I made a video about like, you know, the gate that's blocked and with the magic that's there and stuff. And we're going to look at that in a second as well, because it actually pops up in the video, them opening the door. So it's really cool. Alongside this epic conclusion, Absolution also brings a new fractal, a legendary backpiece, homestead upgrades, a suit of quality of life changes, which I'm curious about that. I did see that there was quality of life as a as like a title for like a portion of this, and I'm really curious to see what that means. Relics, goodies in the Wizard's Vault, and a debut of challenge mode, and the debut of the challenge mode for Convergence Mount Balrior. I know that many people are super excited for this. I haven't played the raid. I don't raid or whatever. But I love this. I absolutely love the challenge mode stuff. You know, it's like I feel like that's the one time where the community like all comes together and they all just like, you know, sit on Twitch together and they like they like everyone is kind of like watching all these different channels and like they're all racing for first and stuff, and it's really really cool. It's something like, I don't know if other MMOs do the same stuff, but it just feels like the community is like very they're very like, I don't know, there's like this unity, right? Where like everyone, like no one is fighting each other. They're all just like fighting, you know, we have a common enemy, which is like the challenge mode, the legendary challenge mode or the regular challenge mode or whatever, right? It's like always, it's really cool to see. Along with Twitch drop, with a Twitch drop event to celebrate the release. So I will be I have now started, just for you guys that don't know, I started multi-streaming, so I'm actually back on Twitch. So I do stream on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube now. So I will be streaming that event. You know, so I will be streaming that day anyway. So if you guys want to hang out with me, and you know, I usually, you know, go for like you know, I take my time and I look at all the pretty things everywhere, and I tell you guys all the time, like, look up. So I'm gonna be looking up a lot because I feel like there's gonna be something up above us. I don't know, like, just thinking. Let's take a look at what's coming. So let's watch this trailer. Um, and yeah, I'm kind of excited. So what we're gonna do here, it keeps doing this to me. My full screen like sometimes doesn't really work. Okay. So what I'm gonna do here is we're gonna watch it. I'm gonna kind of be quiet. We're gonna watch the whole trailer, and then I'm gonna go through and do an analysis of it. Okay.
You've borne witness to our folly. But there's more. Please, let me show you. I left Bavanisos to rest. But that only left our mistakes to rumble and fester. I chose not to avenge my people, endangering and burdening yours. And now that burden falls to you. Will you help me one last time, Wayfinder?
Okay, very interesting stuff here. Very, very interesting. So I think the most interesting part for me, first of all, is I don't think we see the actual bad guy, which is one of the things that, you know, I'm very curious about, right? I think when we look at the other, when we look at the other expansion that was like this, which was Secrets of the Obscure, right? We can only compare those two. We can't compare this expansion to something like End of Dragons or whatever, you know, but the only other expansion that was in this cadence was, you know, the way that they're releasing it was Secrets of the Obscure. And it's kind of strange to me because in Secrets of the Obscure, we did hear about the bad guy the whole time. We knew about Eparch, right? We knew in Secrets of the Obscure right off the bat that the Midnight King would probably be the bad guy at the very end. Here, we still don't really understand, like, is it the Titans or is there something more, you know? So, let's kind of analyze this a little bit. We hear the voiceover is all Mabon, okay? It's all Mabon kind of talking, so I'm gonna kind of turn turn it low. So you witness our folly, right? So he kind of, meaning talking about, like, you know, Eparch and you know, the other Titans that we face, right? There's Greer, Decima, then Bavanisos, there's Manakaz, the spirit of Manakaz, which was you know, in the story, we kind of follow him to the Golden Lake. And there's actually, it's really interesting because this moment, this particular instance where we go to find out what happened to Menekaz, is actually something that I'm going to be talking about in that new video. But anyways, so we see that. But this is the new map. This is Maban kind of greeting us or whatever. So the characters here, very interesting, of note, if people haven't realized it. So there's Pookie, there's us, right? This is the representative for the player character, right? I forgot, they give them names, right? Like, I don't remember what they gave her name. Iskarin, Waiting Sorrow. I was like, I'm trying to get back into like the story. I haven't dealt with the story in like 3 months, and I'm like, who is everyone? But yeah, so Waiting Sorrow, and then this is Anise. Anise is getting a new outfit. She also has a like a different back piece. I don't know what that is. It looks like a folded up fan that's like kind of like folded up, and then it's like on her back. I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna see her wield that, but that's a new outfit for Anise. We're gonna see the front of her later. She's wielding a Crichton scepter, I want to say is the skin. And I think it's 100% her, because we're gonna see a scene later with her where she reacts to something that Maban says. And yeah, so I always love when ArenaNet gives the characters like a new outfit, a new look, right? So this is Anise like with a ponytail. Like, she's like, I'm going with a new outfit too. So I don't know if this is an outfit that's available to us, or if this is going to be something that's going to be available to us at some point. It doesn't look like an outfit that I've seen before. But it's just kind of cool seeing the characters kind of change. Because to me, something like that indicates like character growth, or like a change in some way in a character, right? Like, it's like showing that a period of time has moved on, right? It was like the same with Casimir. When we went from like, she had the like feathery outfit, and then in like season 1, and then when we see her like during Path of Fire, or season 3, when did she change? Season 3, did she change already? Where she all of a sudden has like the ponytail, and she has like a different outfit on and stuff like that. It kind of just like, oh, okay, like she's kind of like grown as a person. Like, I feel like it kind of represents a little bit of something. So it's kind of cool to see that. But anyways, so this looks like a new map. These slabs are very interesting. They're very strange. This whole map looks very strange. It looks very much like, I was expecting to walk into a city, but this doesn't really look like a city. So I will tell you guys, many parts of this kind of remind me of the Realm of Torment. Like, for example, right here, having this come out, it looks like sinew, like fleshy stuff, right? Kind of connecting the different parts of the map. It's a very Realm of Torment, okay? So if you guys haven't watched, like, if you guys haven't seen the Realm of Torment, I did before, I want to say it was before Secrets of the Obscure, or like right around Secrets of the Obscure. There was like a couple of streams that I did where we actually went through the Realm of Torment all together. Like, I showed you guys like the backgrounds, the different areas and stuff. There's one area that's like really gross, where everything is like very fleshy, and you're like inside of, it's almost like you're inside of a body, almost, because you're in this like cave that's all made out of flesh and stuff, and everything is like pulsating and moving, and it's all like disgusting. This is very Realm of Torment-y looking a little bit. You do see the like rocks and stuff like that, which is, I guess, the ruins part of the map. But yeah, so this is kind of, we're gonna look at it more, but looks very much like the Realm of Torment. So here, this is very interesting, and so this is Livia. Livia is opening up the door, right? This is the doorway to the new map. We've talked about it. We have Katla is the Astral Ward member that's trying to open it. She kind of gives us a little bit of a hint of something more being behind it, than just Titans or Mersat or anything like that, because she talks about how powerful this barrier is, right? And I've done my theories on it. We talked about Arachnia, because we're going to be dealing with the Realm of Torment a little bit. But what's really interesting is people might be like, oh, Livia can just open the gate, right? Like, this is really crazy because ArenaNet is hiding something from us. If you guys are like thinking like, oh, Livia can just open the gate, it's not just Livia opening the gate. She's doing something very specific that we're going to talk about in just a second, because ArenaNet does give us a hint as to what's happening here. Okay, which a lot of us have been waiting for, but I don't want to like spoil it. So again, same crew sitting here. Looks like Livia isn't, like, it's weird because when we go here, Livia isn't here, but then when she, but she's opening the gate, so maybe she's like exhausted and she's like, I'll follow you guys, but I'm like exhausted from opening this gate. But we know that this gate, like opening this gate is even too powerful for someone like Iskaran to open. But then Livia can do it with something, like with a different thing, and that we're going to talk about that. So anyways, let's move on from that for a second. And then, yeah, so it looks like this is a Mersant, like ghost. Is this Manakaz? I don't know. But we start off right away with like a Mersat ghost with the wings in the back and stuff. So, yeah, and we see all these are all mirrors, right? These look like the Mersat mirrors that we just learned about, that we kind of used to traverse. But there's 5 of those, right? There's like one here, one here, one here, one here, and then another one here. It looks like that's a lot, like in this one spot. But this map is crazy because remember, so having a map like this for Secrets of the Obscure kind of made sense if we had a style of map like this where there's ruins, and again there's like this like sinew, this like fleshy stuff that's kind of connecting all the pieces together. Everything is kind of destroyed. It's very like, whoa, okay, what's going on? This made sense in Secrets of the Obscure because they're giving us the sky scale. Now remember, people that don't have Secrets of the Obscure might not have the sky scale. How do we move about a space like this? It looks very like hard to move around in. So it's going to be interesting to see what they're doing with the little, like, I keep calling them spirit springs because that's what they are, right? The little air pockets that come out of the ground that we can use for our war claws and stuff like that. So like, are we going to have a lot of those? It's very bright also. This like map seems very bright. I'm not a fan of these styles of maps where they make this like very bright fog. This was very like Nios, where it's like not bright fog, but very foggy, like extremely foggy, where you don't see, like, I want to see more of the view. So I'm not a fan of that. I've never been a fan of that. I feel like that kind of hindered Nios from actually being a beautiful, like a really, really cool map, because you couldn't really see very far. It was just like wall of fog there, but anyways, so let's look. Okay, so, and it kind of, the fog goes away a little bit, so it goes a little bit and we can see more. So down here we're actually gonna see, yeah, these are definitely these like mirrors. So down here we see and we're gonna get a closer look. So this looks like a Titan, right? This looks like a Titan. So since the release of Janthir Wilds, since before the release of Janthir Wilds, we've seen this like energy, right? This golden red energy that was like at the cores of all the Titans. That's kind of what was their like power core, and they talked about this for a little bit during the initial release of Janthir Wilds, right, when we're kind of learning about the Titan spawn and what's going on there. But then we kind of dropped that whole, right, like the whole subject. During Repentance, the Titans were not even a subject anymore, right? Like during Godspawn, it was kind of all about like fighting Ura and stuff like that, but we still didn't dig into the background of the Titans and like what's going on with it. So we haven't really talked about the Titans since the initial release of Janthir Wilds, because then Godspawn came out, and like I said, it was all about like fighting Ura, and we ended up defeating all 3 of the Titans, but we didn't really talk about like where they come from, what's going on, like what's their magic made up of, blah 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 blah. We're just kind of fighting, we're kind of focused on fighting them and just kind of doing that, right? And then when we went into the latest release, which was Repentance, the Titans weren't even subject. Like the Titans didn't even, it was all about the Mersat and their past and blah 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 blah. And it's just kind of like, okay, what's going on with the Titans, though, right? So anyways, we see more of these portals. So these Mersad mirrors are like everywhere here. But this map is very like, look how wild this is with the like fleshy parts or whatever this is supposed to be, kind of connecting everything. It looks very much like, yeah, it just looks like it's very Realm of Torment-y, the way this looks a little bit. It reminds me a lot of the Realm of Torment. Like the Realm of Torment has invaded this space, is what it looks like. They're doing something cinematically here as well, where like this seems to be the Mist portal. There's some glyphs and stuff on this portal. So I don't know if like I don't know what we're doing here, like, because the camera, as you guys will see, we're coming through the portal. So are we already in the Realm of Torment here? Or like what, like I'm trying to kind of like piece together, are we like on the new map? Is the new map in the Realm of Torment? Is there gonna be like a transitional space where we move into the Realm of Torment? It's like, I like watch this, because this little outline right here, you know, where I said these like glyphs and stuff like that, that seems to be the Mist portal. We're gonna see that a couple of times. It's you know, here's one, it's like 4 parts. There's one part here, there's one part here, there's one part here, and then there's one part here. And like kind of watch this video. So it's like we're coming through and then we're in this map. So it's like, is this map in the Realm of Torment, or is this like, are they giving us a view of like, this is what the map looks like from the portal? Like if we were to turn this camera around, this is the portal that leads into the Mist, right? You see what I'm saying? So anyways, I'm not sure what's going on there, but let's kind of continue watching, because this is kind of a surreal space when we're talking about Tyria. Like, there's no space on Tyria that looks like this. Anytime we've seen something like this, it's been in the Mist somewhere. Like, Tyria is very much like, it kind of follows the rules of like Earth and stuff like that. So, but it's interesting to kind of watch. Anyways, so let's watch a little bit more. We see also these weird like rings and stripes on these, which I think is part of that same energy that we've been talking about. But yeah, this is very like stuff floating. It looks like lava on the ground, or is this more of that energy? It doesn't look like it's that purple energy. It looks like lava on the ground there. Remember, this is inside of a mountain. Baba Nisos is built inside of a mountain. So we're technically, I believe, inside of a mountain, but it looks like the whole inside of the mountain has been kind of, it's a very, very chaotic space, it looks like. So we're kind of get a zoom through here, more of the floaty rocks. We get some of the jade armors, finally. We're going to see some of these, like, I mean, we've seen some of them, but I mean, like, we're getting to see more of them. What this space is, I don't know. It doesn't look like this is the entrance where we come from, but this is more of Baba Nisos. Again, it's a very interesting, like, you know, there's the obsidian, right? The Mersad obsidian. There's like these stalagmites and stalactites and stuff that are, you know, almost look like teeth to like a cave there. I don't know what's back there. They're kind of like zooming in on that space. I don't know what that is about. And then yeah, so here we get the reveal. Okay, here we get the reveal that is for those of you that are that are like lore aficionados or whatever. We're getting some really interesting stuff here. So first of all, it's the crew, including Livia, and what is on her back? The Scepter of Ore. So that is what she used at the portal earlier, when she was like holding up her arm, but they had the scepter was like, it was like, you couldn't see it. Like if we could have seen side view, we could have seen it, but it was just like flat. So it was like, it just looked like a staff that she was holding, but it's actually the Scepter of Ore. Livia is carrying the Scepter of Ore and she's using it. Huge. That's huge. Legavo, right? The Scepter of Ore has been a huge thing in the Guild Wars lore for a long, long time. It's a seer artifact from a long time ago, and it, you know, if you guys want to understand what the connection is, again, kind of watch the history of video that I made. It's a really short video. It's just 10 minutes. Just kind of watch it. It gives you a little bit of background, but I'll tell you kind of a little bit about it here. So the Scepter of Ore was used by Vizier Kilbron during Guild Wars 1 Prophecies. At the very end of Guild Wars 1, You know, the early part of the White Mantle story kind of had to deal with yeah, the White Mantle versus the Shining Blade, and we found out the White Mantle were sacrificing people on the Bloodstone and stuff, but it was also about finding the Scepter of Ore, and then we thought that Vizier Kilbron was actually not a good guy, so we kind of traded the Scepter of Ore to him, hoping that he would help us, and he did help us, but in the end, he turned out to be a bad guy, and he kind of betrayed us a little bit. And he wanted to fight us, but he opened the door of Kamali, and he won. Or did we open it? I guess technically we opened it because we defeated the Mursad that were like keeping the door locked or whatever. But then, anyways, the point is that Vizier Kilbron had the Scepter of Ore, and the Scepter of Ore he used to control Titans. That was the whole thing, right? It was kind of said that it can control the Titans, yada yada yada. So when Janthir started, they were all contemplating, right? The Tyrian Alliance was contemplating, should we use the scepter or not? And then Queen Jenna was against it, right? She was like, no, it's too dangerous. We don't da 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 da. Apparently, our last resort to get into Inner Bavanisos is to use the Scepter of Ore, but it looks like Isgarin is letting Livia use it. So Livia is not letting that out of her hands quite yet. I'm still hoping that I can get my hands on it. I would love to see a staff skin that is the Scepter of Ore. But anyways, so yeah, so the Scepter of Ore is here. Whole crew, Scepter of Ore, Livia, we're all here. Anyways, so it looks like they are coming from this side, so that might be where we do come from. The other cool thing is we see actually Mursad Obsidian stairs. So the few structures that we got to see in Guild Wars 1 that were Mursad structures, they were all made like this. They all looked like this. There was like fortresses that we saw that were made out of like the walls and the stairs, and even just the ground you walked on were made out of this Mursad obsidian, right? And we never knew the name of it. We've only just seen it. There was portals that they made that looked like made out of this, that looked like this. So when we came to Bavanisos and we saw, you know, lots of it used, I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. But I was more expecting like this to be like more like what we see now. So going into Inner Bavanisos, it's nice to actually see this happen. There's also something poking out back there. I don't know what that is. What is that? It looks like a very suspicious piece of rock. Can't identify it. Oh, maybe we can. Oh, it's just a piece of obsidian. Okay. But yeah, so there you go. Really cool. We see the Scepter of Ore. Really, really cool. We see even a close up of the Scepter of Ore. It looks different, doesn't it? It looks different. It looks like it's been like powered up or something. Because the Scepter of Ore really didn't look like that. Like, it has this, like, the black parts on this. I don't remember that being there. On the actual, like, scepter. So, it's going to be interesting to see what's going on with that. Just so you guys know, since Repentance released, the Scepter of Ore has actually been on display in the Wizard's Vault area of the Wizard's Tower. Like, if you go into that little vault area, like, past the guy that talks about the relics or whatever the relic keeper guy name is, the ogre guy or whatever. Is that what he is? Is he an ogre? I think so. No, I feel like he's something else. I don't know. Anyways, the guy, I forgot his name, but the guy that keeps the relics or whatever, right? If you go down into like that little back area there, there's a little the Wizard's Vault down there where they have all the knickknacks in there and stuff like that. In the far corner, you can actually see the scepter. The scepter is actually displayed in game now for us, which is kind of crazy. But anyways, and it looks a little bit different in this. So here we get, like I said, we kind of get confirmation that this is Anise because Mabon says something. And then you see Anise actually reacting to that. Again, it looks like she has a fan on her back or something. I think this is an outfit. This outfit is available or whatever. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% certain on this, but if it's not, it's a cool outfit. I like it. I don't have too many female characters, so I don't know what it looks like on a guy. But Like I said, it's just cool to see a new outfit for her. So here, this is what I was kind of talking about. We actually see her. We see. This seems to be the other side of this cave, right? This is actually us going towards this cave now. This is the inner center of Bavanisos. Like now we're in the inner Bavanisos, but we got to go to the center of Bavanisos. But it looks like Livia is using the scepter to open whatever barrier is there. So the meta event might have to do with us escorting her around and like, you know, opening up more things. But yeah, so she's using the scepter, which is, you know, kind of crazy to see the scepter in action. Right, so we can kind of see that a little bit. Not much else. We have some ruin shard, Titan spawn. I think that's you know, we see some rotting Titan spawn. So we're fighting Titan spawn, trying to get into this area, whatever that is. I'm not sure what's going on there. The purple glow is very interesting as well. It's super purple, and it doesn't really look like the obsidian. It doesn't look very Mersadish, but I don't know what this like giant purple glow is that's coming out of that area. I'm not sure. We have people on turtles here. I'm not sure what the might be part of the meta where we have to like, you know, there's a circle around here and we have to like I don't know if this is like they just did this to be like, oh yeah, turtles are cool, guys. No, they're not. But you know, I don't know if this is like part of the meta or what, but they're all just like on their turtles. I don't know if these are NPCs. These look like NPCs. Can I just be honest? These look like NPCs. These don't look like player characters. Well, this guy looks like this is definitely a player character back there, but yeah, these look like regular NPCs. Are we getting involvement of like Cantha here? Like what's going on? These look like Jade Brotherhood people hanging out on turtles, but yeah, I could be just wrong. I don't know. This is no, there's a virtuoso, but it's pointing the other way, so it's in the back again. Like it looks like they have NPCs on these turtles, and then regular players are in the back seat. But we have some Steam Titan spawn here. So then we get Gorseval, and that was so interesting. A lot of people are like, "Wow, I didn't expect Gorseval back." I did not either. Seeing Gorseval back, I guess it makes sense. We'll talk about Gorseval in a little bit as well. I kind of want to like just watch, like look through this. We might look at Gorseval or something. I don't know. We'll have to read the rest of the article to really see if there's the involvement. But for those of you that don't know, so Gorseval is one of the raid bosses from like what the first raid wing, second raid wing, blah, whatever. It's during the Heart of Thorns era. It's when we go into the into the deeper jungle to find the White Mantle, and where we find out that the bandits are actually part of the White Mantle or helping the White Mantle or whatever, blah blah blah. But all the sacrificing that they did with the spirits and stuff like that, all these angry spirits have kind of culminated into this being. They like melted together into this being that was Gorseval. It's these angry spirits that like kind of just like came together and manifested into this evil creature that was Gorseval, right? It's because all these evil spirits were being killed by the White Mantle or whatever, and they were used for their experiments and their bloodstone things and whatever, right? And it all kind of came together as this like creature. And that was Gorseval. And it kind of makes sense because we do know that they did many experiments on the bloodstone with the people, and they killed like thousands and thousands of people, especially right towards the end of Prophecies, right, where the Titans were released, and they're trying to keep the door shut. Like right before the Titans were released, they're trying to keep the door shut. They're killing all these people, blah blah blah. You know, all this negative energy and blah blah blah. So it kind of makes sense that Gorseval would be here. I don't know what the context, like, is it going to be the same thing? Is it just going to be like, oh yeah, the spirits of Bavanisos have kind of like come together and created another Gorseval, or what? But we're getting like a 1-to-1 like Gorseval. Like, this is crazy that we're getting like a Gorseval fight. But yeah, he's gross as ever. Again, he kind of fits in with the whole idea of the Realm of Torment. I mean, this guy could be like straight out of the Realm of Torment. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this is what the demons of the Realm of Torment look like. If you guys did not watch those videos of mine, or watch or play through that yourself or whatever, right? The demons that we faced in the Realm of Torments were very gross looking. They were very like evil looking and very disgusting. And yeah, he fits like right in with that, which you know, he has these little hands coming out of there, which is part of these spirits. He has like 75 billion teeth that are all hanging right out. Tongue action, we got some saliva, we got tentacles, we got like everything to make a really good, you know, like explicit video that we can share on the internet. But anyways, yeah, so he fits right in though, definitely. Anyways, so here we are coming from the opened gate. The whole army of people is running down here. We got Master Chief along the group here helping us out. We got Superman, it looks like. But anyways, so I guess these are like arena employees or whatever playing this. But yeah, so that's the start of the map, I guess. Coming in here, I'm not sure. And we run right in, and like I said, it's a very, very surreal space. I don't think we get anything crazy. This looks like another mirror. This looks like a very large Mersat mirror. I don't know if these Mersat mirrors are gonna be like, I don't know how we're gonna be moving around the space. Are they gonna be like, instead of bringing us to like secret locations to open a chest, are they gonna actually put us into new parts of the map that we need to go to where we can actually do stuff, right? That was one of the things that I kind of hated about these mirrors, because you can kind of see them up there as well. Was that the mirrors just brought us to like a chest that we could open, and that's all they did. They brought us into a space of a bubble, and it just kind of felt like, okay, it didn't really feel like it enhanced the gameplay in any shape or form. I'm really hoping that the mirrors are part of the gameplay now, where you know, here's a little scenario, to give you a little scenario, okay? So you see this whole army going, right, and attacking Gorseval, right? Let's just say. But then you have a moment where some of the people in the group need to split off because there is like a barrier, or let's say there's a spirit of a Mersat that's hanging above the arena where Gorseval is and casting like a shielding spell on Gorseval, right? Lowering the damage that we do to Gorseval, right? Imagine it's a time thing, so we're all hitting and we're now doing less damage. But there is a Mersat mirror that you can go into to get to the spirit that's protecting Gorseval. I'm just painting like a random scenario, right? So you have to split off, like some people have to split off to go defeat the spirit up there to lower the shield, right? Because the reason why I'm painting this is, what if some people haven't learned the mastery yet, right? So when you have a fight like that and you have some people splitting off, the people that don't have the mastery yet, they don't need to split off, or they can wait on a portal. There could be like a mesmer that leaves a portal down below that can then portal them up there, and they can glide back down into the arena or something like that. You know, so it's not that it's necessary to have the Mersat mirror like mastery, but the ones that already have it, they can go help out and go defeat that spirit. Like, I kind of wish that there's some gameplay involvement with the mirrors, is all I'm saying. So anyways, moving in. Jumping down on the Warclaw. Yeah, so it looks like this is like, it's weird because this looks like the entrance, but it also looks like, I don't know if earlier when Livia was like right here, when Livia was casting the spell, I don't know if maybe she's shielding the exit. Like, because like I said, this kind of feels like this is the entrance to the map. So maybe she's not opening up the thing, but she's shielding the exit, like locks us in. Maybe that's what's happening here, because I don't really understand what, you know, if this is the entrance, why are we trying to go into it? But maybe we're trying to shield it from anyone like exiting. Maybe there's like an army of Titan spawn. We're like, oh crap, and we turn around and we like, and Livia's like, I gotta close the gate, like I gotta close it for now while we're in here, or something, you know, because like I said, it kind of feels like that's where we're coming in from. So it's kind of weird that like this is what right, we're coming in and we're running down there, and then this is the arena that we're running down to. But then this also looks like the exit, but this doesn't quite look like the same cave entrance because I don't see the stalagmites. So it's very curious. I'm very curious to see what's going on here. This map looks very interesting to me. This looks like a different cave entrance though. So maybe we are trying to open up the inner part of it. I'm not sure, but this looks like bloodstone. Looks like there's a bloodstone here, which I guess makes sense. There's more bloodstone right here. That is not Mersat obsidian. That is definitely bloodstone. Who's standing up there? Do you guys see that? Who's standing up there? Is that just like a player character? Or yeah, it looks like a player character because it looks like the holographic shoulder pads. I think. I'm not sure, but yeah, this is definitely a different. So this is the actual entrance, I think, right? Oh, wait a minute. You know what this is? This is the other side of the cave. So you see how the what is it, stalagmites, stalactites? Which are the ones that come from stalactites, I guess. I don't remember. Whatever. It doesn't matter. But it looks like that's the other side. When we look at the when we look here, you can see them right here. Do you see them right here sticking out? Right? And then we go in, but then look at like Gorseval's arena. It looks like the other side because it looks like back there is that cave. So we're looking in, we're trying to open it up, and this is maybe the inner part. So this might be like a section of the meta where we're kind of moving through the map, we're opening up these barriers, we're kind of moving through. So I guess this is not at all the entrance to the map. So I'm not sure what's going on there. But anyways, fighting Gorseval. I don't think he's changed at all in his model. It would be kind of cool to maybe see, instead of having him be blue, be red because of the bloodstone around it, to have like influenced him or something. That would be kind of cool. But anyways, we don't really know the story behind any of that. They're jumping off. This looks like the cave. So this looks like the jump right into Gorseval's arena. Does it not? Yeah, this looks like up here. It looks like we're getting a close-up of this area. Like, kind of watch it because you can see that part down here and then this part, like the little, whatever that is, like dirt or whatever that is, or yeah, that is definitely that same. So it definitely looks like we open up this inner space. Okay, that's kind of cool. Jumping into the arena, fighting. I'm looking for details. Again, very Realm of Tormenty, the way that this looks very fleshy. Not in the sense of like, I like that they kind of differentiated between Nios and this, because Nios had very like red fleshy and grossness, where a lot of the Realm of Torment had like white fleshy, which kind of makes it grosser in my opinion. But anyways, we're fighting Gorseval. More bloodstone. We get these weird like mushroom grows and stuff like that. Again, it's a little bit I don't know if this is really like Realm of Tormenty, having these like mushrooms and stuff like that growing. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like, is there something in the Realm of Torment that kind of looks like that? Not that I can really recall, but I keep thinking of the like spider space. But yeah, anyways, we get more of that, right? And then we get this like pump. So this is where it gets like interesting again. So we get this pump, and it looks like this is where perhaps the Titan spawns are coming out of. I don't really think that this is where the Titans are made. Because this would be like too small of a thing. This looks like this is where the Titan spawns come out of. But this doesn't look like that's where the Titans are from. You see what I'm saying? Because the Titans are from the Foundry of Failed Creations. But this looks like a machine that produces something. This looks like a biological machine that's creating something. But it looks like these would be like little pods for Titan spawn to come out of. Okay? That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this is like where the Titan spawn come out of. They don't just come out of the body of the Titans, but they're like created in here in the image of the Titan spawn, maybe. Maybe there's going to be like one machine for each Titan that we have. There would be 4 machines, right? It could be part of the meta to destroy 4 of these machines that are pumping out the Titan spawn. But yeah, it's like this pump, right? This like weird fleshy looking, like mushroomy looking pump. Very weird. And then we get this. I don't know why they're focusing on this. Is this like a, like, again, this looks kind of like a fleshy, but it has that like same energy that's in there. And it's massive because look at how small the players are down here, right? This is like a regular size. I don't know if that's a Norn or a human. It doesn't really matter. That's a Warclaw there, but you know, and then we have like a where we can we can like harvest this little node here. But this is a huge gate. Like, is something gonna come through that gate? That would be insane. Like, this looks like a gate. This looks like something that would open up. Like, all the tentacles would retract or something. Strange looking. I don't know what this is. Is this the mist gate? I don't think this is a mist gate. But this is like, again, it looks like there's something behind it. It looks like this is a cave. Do you guys see that? There's like, you can kind of see, like, there's a space here and there's a space here. We can kind of see through it. And it looks like there's a room back there. Kind of watch. See how there's a room back there? There's a room back there. This is the mist gate. Now, these runes, I was looking at those earlier, and I'm like, I don't think these are translatable. For those of you that don't know, many of the languages and many of the runes and the different things are all translatable. This doesn't look translatable. But this also doesn't really look Mersat, in my opinion. I'm going to be honest with you guys. This doesn't look Mersat. This is very demonic, right? This is very demonic. This looks more ancient than Mersat. Like, while I do see a lot of the Mersat obsidian here, this doesn't, I don't know, this doesn't really ring Mersat to me, but more ancient than Mersat. Could be wrong, but we do have the Mistgate here. We do get a little bit of the, like, flowy essence of the mists here. But yeah, this is the Mistgate, you guys. It's a very unique asset. We don't have anything that looks like this in game. It looks very unique. This is very, like, if I were to see just this gate, it looks very like Diablo almost, because it looks very demonic. It's very jagged. It's very like there's something like very macabre and evil. Like, it just gives me bad vibes, man. Looking at this, like, it's crazy. So this is the Mistgate, and then we kind of get, you know, there's the player character. Are we like inside of the portal? Like, what is this energy thing that's happening there? What is that? What is that? Oh, it's just another player. Firing on the gate. Are we destroying the gate? It looks like we're destroying the gate. Okay, yeah. So this is just like kind of like they're giving us this like weird illusion of like us being on the other side, like, of the portal or something, but it looks like we're destroying the portal, which is kind of the goal, right? We're not trying to go into the mist, we're trying to keep people out from coming in from the mist. The point of that is destroying the mist portal. Are we ever going to see what's on the other side of this? I don't know. It doesn't look like we will, based on this, right? Like, if we're destroying the portal, we're not going in, and the fractal doesn't deal with anything like that. So, are we not going to see the Foundry of Failed Creations? Because that was kind of what I was like, I'm like, are we going to go into the Mists at some point? Or are we going to, is that where the next expansion is going to go? But it looks like they're giving us the hint as to, I don't know. Is the story going to be that we're just destroying the Mistgate and we're leaving the Foundry as is? That would be crazy, because then we know that there's an army of Titans amassing on the other side, you know, in the Realm of Torment, which is like, I don't think it would be too far-fetched to think that there's another way from the Realm of Torment to come into Terria. So I don't know, but it looks like we're kind of shooting at it. I don't know if they're just making it look like that because, you know, it's a player character shooting a fireball, but they're making it look like they're shooting it at the gate, but it's not being shot at the gate, because this is like two scenes at once, it looks like. So I don't know. But again, we kind of get these like weird growths coming out of the side, which looks like very Realm of Torment-y over here, like these tentacles coming out and stuff like that. Then we have these these portals, not mist portals, but these rift portals, where like it looks like Titan spawn are being shot out of. Like, look at this. They're like cannonballing out of it. Woohoo! Looks like or they're shooting out of it or something. I don't know what's going on there. Can we see anything else interesting here? No, it's just another very strange bloodstone. So it looks like we're trying to like. It's weird how we're like trying to capture the bloodstone. Why is this specific space circled? Why, usually like circle space big like that means that we have to capture that space or hold that space for whatever reason. Is it that Livia needs to absorb the power of the bloodstone to power the scepter or something like that? Could it be something like that to, in order to like, use the power of the scepter to close the gate or control the Titans or whatever? I don't know, but it's very interesting. Then we get this proto-Titan. So we kind of saw this creature way early on when we came into the map. The mist portal is right behind it. So this might be the very last step to the very last step of the meta before we get to the actual gate. But this is like a proto-Titan, right? This is like the energies of the Titan, but it hasn't like assimilated to its environments, right? We've seen like they take on the form of the environment that they're in, which they even, I mean, this is the nature of the Titans. They did the same thing in Guild Wars 1, where in Guild Wars 1, depending on where you fought the Titans, they look different. So if you go into the mountains, you were fighting Frost Titans. If you went, when we were at the Ring of Fire, the island chain, we would fight fiery ones. When we went to the Maguma jungle, we were fighting rotting Titans, right? They're made out of like wood and bark and stuff like Greer is. So it looks like this is a new Titan that was just sent in to Tyria from the Mistgate. That's what I'm thinking. It looks like they just sent it through the portal. It just arrived on Tyria, and it hasn't had a time to kind of take in its environments and kind of create its like, armor shell or whatever. So it's just the pure energy of a Titan now we're fighting here. This looks more like Greer to me, but it could be Decima. I don't know. We get more of the Gorseval fight. And then we get this. This space looks nothing. This looks like the realm. Am I gonna do it? Am I gonna say, does this look like the Realm of Torment? So this space looks like nothing we've seen yet. Everything here has been like, we see the ruins, and like every shot of this map, we see some kind of ruin somewhere, right? Like we see these ruins of like the city, the space, the lighting. We can kind of tell it's all in the same tone, right? But then this shot at the very end here is super curious to me, and I kind of want to see it in like a let me watch. So that's the Mistgate. Then we're fighting this proto. We're fighting Gorseval, and then we go to this space, and that's the last shot. So the last shot is very curious. There's a this must be the Realm of Torment, man. I don't want to say it that we're going into the Realm of Torment, but like I see the chains coming down, which is very like, remember, the Foundry of Failed Creations acted as a prison. If you guys have watched my video that I just released, the Foundry of Failed Creations was a prison once upon a time. And then it was then the Fury, which was this spirit that used to serve Doom, and then decided to also follow Abaddon, who was like in control of the Realm of Torment or whatever, turned it into the Foundry, right? Into this place where they create Titans, where they take souls. They have this fire at the center of the Foundry that could melt together souls, is like exactly how this was put, right? And it looks like this is it. It looks like this is the very center of that space. Livia, us, Anise is not here. But we have these shadow creatures. Guys, it's shadow creatures. hold on. Hold on, you guys. Okay, so let's kind of finish the first thought that I had. So it looks like that's the fire where the Titans are being created, right? So we get this like weird swirl. Maybe this is where they absorb the... Is it going outward or inward? Oh, it's going outward. So this might just be like, I don't know, like the exhaust of the fire, right? But it looks like that's where the Titans are created. I don't know what this is. This looks very like, it almost reminds me of Orine's crystals in a way. Obviously, this is not what that is, but what else does the space remind me of? Well, the Maw of Torment, right? The area in Path of Fire that has the actual entrance to the Realm of Torment, right? The OG entrance to the Realm of Torment, that's now closed, where the meta event takes place on in the it's not the Ellen Riverlands, it's the one below that, which is the Desolation. In the Desolation, right next to the outpost to the Order of Shadows. That's what this reminds me of, right? It looks very much like that with the jagged rocks kind of sticking upward like that. It's very much like that, right? And there's like an epicenter. But I'm telling you right now, this is the Realm of Torment. So before we close that gate, we might actually be going into that and destroying the foundry. That might be the last step. Now, I just said shadow creatures. So if you guys remember, we still don't know who's behind all of this. Who's creating the Titans? Who's making all of this happen? Okay, and we had different things. I talked about Arachnia. Now, I will tell you guys, based off of this trailer, I don't believe that to be true anymore. I was thinking if we were to see more spider creatures, maybe. But I don't see any influence of Arachnia in in that entire trailer. But here at the very end, we do see another person, and I did talk about that. If you look at the who's behind all of this video, I did talk about him. Manicaz, or not Manicaz, Menzies. Oh my god, Jesus, getting my names, my MNZ names messed up. But Menzies. So for those of you that don't know, Menzies is the half brother of Balthazar. During Guild Wars 1's time, we actually venture out to the Fissure of Woe, which is the realm of Balthazar, and they're raging a war there. Okay, so it's Menzies' Shadow Army versus Balthazar's Eternal or whatever. They're fighting each other. Okay, and we find out that Menzies wants to take Balthazar's place as the god of war. Like, he wants to usurp him. Okay, that's kind of his whole thing. So then during Season 4, when Dragonfall happens, right, when we venture through the mists and Krakator takes parts of these god realms with him, right, he actually takes part of the Fissure of Woe, which is the Burning Forest is part of the Fissure of Woe, is part of Balthazar's realm, takes chunk of that, falls, kind of, that's Dragonfall gets created, and we start seeing the Shadow Army there, which is the Shadow Monks and the Shadow Beasts and blah, 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 whatever. And we're fighting these shadow creatures. And that's the army, that's the one time we see the army of Menzies still kind of like fighting, still out there. Because we don't know what happened with Menzies after the fall of Balthazar, right? After Balthazar was chained away in the mists, we don't know what happened with Menzies. Did he win? Did he take over? Did he become the new god of war? Like, we don't know. That could potentially have happened, and we don't know about it, right? We don't know if like he took over the Fissure of Woe, like, and he's now the master of it, right? But we know that during Guild Wars 1's time, like, they all allied together. It was Doom, Abaddon, and Menzies that all allied together, and they were all kind of working together. These fallen gods, these usurped gods, right? These gods kind of like, they had this alliance going on, which explains why there would be shadow creatures. But these look like shadow creatures, which would mean that Menzies is involved. Which, could that be who's behind all of this? Is Menzies the one that's behind all of this? The half brother to Balthazar, another god creature. We don't know. It's so cool to talk about the gods, because the gods, the human gods, are this like interesting thing, because they have like parents, and they have like they don't come from Tyria, and we don't know their origin, right? Like, we know the origin of the Elder Dragons now, right? We've learned so much about the Elder Dragons. We understand like where they come from, what's going on. Like, we figured all of that out over 10 years. We learned so much about them, you know. But the human gods have, for the better part of 20 years, been a huge mystery in so many ways, right? Because it's like, some of them have been usurped, but they haven't been destroyed. And then some of them have been destroyed. And like, how does the pantheon work? Is there more? Where did they come from? Obviously, they had, like, some of them have parents. If you look at the actual lore of the human gods apparently, this is going back to Guild Wars 1 times, Guild Wars 1, but the human gods are not much older than the humans themselves. So the humans as a race, like, it's said that the humans the human gods came shortly before the humans, or shortly after the humans actually became a race, wherever they came from. But it's some, so they're not these ancient creatures from a long time ago, but no, their origins are around the same time of the actual human race, right? So is it like the human race came into being wherever they're from, in their like home realm or whatever, and then a pantheon was picked from the strongest or something, and then like they rose to be the gods of these humans or something? Like, what's the history, right? Like, how is Menzies the half brother of Balthazar, right? What's the relationship? What's the parental thing, right? Because obviously that's suggesting that there were parents that were the parents of these gods. How are they half brothers, right? Is Menzies behind all of this, right? Like, but it's looking like it, because these are shadow creatures, and shadow creatures usually, I mean, you could say, yeah, we're in the realm of torment, and these are just like demons from the realm, but these are like very shadowy looking creatures. So my guess would be on Menzies, you guys. That's kind of like my final like thing here. And there's like fire, that could be kind of indicating like Balthazar's realm, maybe. This object right here looks very foreign, but it's on fire. Okay, I just want to point that out, that this object, this rock, is on fire. And you know what this looks like to me? This looks like a meteor struck. It looks like a meteor struck right in there. Is this a meteor from like our realm or somewhere else? So many mysteries. This is really interesting. But this seems to be the center of the Foundry of Failed Creations, where the Titans are being made, and this might be the final step of the story, where we're defeating, maybe defeating whoever's behind all of this, maybe locking them away. Are we finally meeting Menzies? Here's the thing: for Menzies to be a character for a long, like, we've seen Abaddon, we've seen Doom, we've destroyed Abaddon, we've locked away Doom twice now, right? Like in Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2. But we've never seen Menzies. Menzies, we've never seen. We've only heard the name, but we've never seen him. So could he be behind all of this? Is this the Realm of Torment? I don't know. So we get Bavanisos, the actual map, and then meta is a Titanic voyage. Story finale. So we get 3 chapters: forced entry, a Titanic undertaking, salvation's cost. Okay. Then we get the Orax. Orax manifested. I don't know. Orax is Orax. Is Orax a person? Hold on, let me see. Orax sounds so familiar. No. Okay, I don't know. It sounded very familiar, but Orax manifested. I don't know. Is this hinting at something else? I mean, this could be hinting at like you know, who is behind all of it. Might be a completely new person. Might be Oryx. But why would we have Oryx manifested as a back piece? Doesn't make that much sense, right? I do want to look at something because someone did point something out that I didn't see. Hold on, let me go. Someone pointed out, I did see this. Someone pointed out the actual back piece. There was a back piece that someone said, like, is this the new legendary piece? But I didn't actually see that. I was paying attention to the environment. Oh, I do want to point out here as well. White mantle. We do see some white mantle. I didn't even see that. I was so focused on the Scepter of War. But we do see some white mantle as well here. You know, we do get some spider webs. Again, this might just be like because it's old ruins, and you know, there's like, or it looks like spider webs. Might not be even spider webs. So, but yeah, I don't think Arachnia is in the running anymore for bad guy of the year. Which is kind of sad. I wanted to see something like spider creature-esque, but Menzies is good too. Menzies is a great character to have. Where's this back piece that someone spoke of? I don't seem to see it. Oops. Someone had pointed, oh, right here. So someone pointed that out, that seems to be the new legendary back piece. It's very colorful. Oryx, what does it say? Oryx what? Manifested or whatever? Oryx manifested. That's the back piece. What do you guys think about that? It's like a weird, I don't know if I can color all of the colors on here. If I could color all of, like, most of the colors on here, and it doesn't have to be greenish like that. Actually might be pretty okay. Like, it gives us like a tail. What does that mean for like Char? Is that gonna replace their tail? Because it doesn't look like a cape. It's more of like a tail that's coming out, you know? But yeah, someone said that might be the back piece. So that might be a preview of the legendary back piece. So what do you guys think about that? I don't think I'm gonna go for it. I already have a legendary back piece, and I don't think this is really like, oh my god, like groundbreaking in the look. But apparently, I mean, someone said, and they might have done this deliberately to kind of preview. They did that before, if you guys remember, like, they were previewing a lot of the skins and stuff like that early on when Janthir Wilds came out and stuff like that. They kind of in the trailers and stuff had people like wearing a lot of the skins that we were getting. So but yeah, what do you guys think? I don't really have an opinion on it. I mean, it looks interesting. I would really have to see how it works out, like how it looks on different races and stuff like that. It could be really cool, but I don't know. I feel like it could work really well with some infusions as well. But anyways, yeah, so we get this final shot. And then Kinfall. So again, you know, we talk about this, the new fractal. So I think the fractal, is going to be about the, you know, it's the Kinfall, meaning that it's the lowland Kodan that are like leaving the mountains or whatever. I think, you know, I think it's pretty clear that that's what the fractal is going to be about. It's going to be kind of nice. I mean, not that I really wanted to see the, like, the background to that. I don't know if that's really like, but if it's a good fractal, it might be a good fractal. You know, I don't know. I feel like the last few fractals have kind of been a big miss. I haven't been very excited about fractals. I love the old stuff. My favorite fractal is still the dwarven one. I keep forgetting what it's called. It has a specific name, and I keep forgetting the name. But the dwarven one is my favorite one because it's a mix of like puzzle and then having some interesting mechanics, but it also has like interesting lore, and it has like interesting characters. That kind of like Torn is a very interesting character. If you guys don't know the story of Torn, like he like there, you know, he's a recurring character he was a recurring character in Guild Wars 1, but then he made an appearance in Guild Wars 2, which was like, it's kind of cool. So I kind of love that, you know, because it's like a mix of everything, right? You have like an interesting boss with some interesting mechanics. It's not too difficult, but you get to see like an interesting map with some cool lore and yada yada. So yeah, I hope that it's an interesting fractal. I don't know. I will have to see. Convergence boss update. and challenge mode, where the Steam Shrieker, Mastery Update, Homesteading, and Rasad Shadowcraft. Grandmaster Handiwork Crafting, so we get more crafting, and Janthir Beehive Mastery. Yes! Yes! Beehives. I don't understand the obsession with the beehives, but hey, whatever. ArenaNet does what they do, and I'm okay with it. It's not going to ruin my enjoyment. It just makes me question choices sometimes. New homestead decorations and vault refresh, new weapon set and relics, more achievements and rewards. Do we get anything else? Absolution, June 3rd. Yep, and we just get that, and then new adventure packets. All right. So let's read about it, because I want to see if some of my theories. I know we're like, if you guys are still with me, I appreciate you guys very, very much. I'm sorry this is a super long video, but you know what? We like to take our time here and look at every detail. So, anyways, let's keep reading because we're already like way into this. Guild Wars 2, Janthir Wild's Absolution. When Mabon fell to the Cryptus, an ancient ward cast over the city of Bavanisos evaporated. All its secrets were free to fester. All its ghosts danced back to life. At the start of Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds, the commander was sent on a mission of diplomacy to befriend the lowland Khodan of the Janthir region. But just as we settled into the calming rituals of the Delta lifestyle, a darker threat emerged from the shadows. Titans had somehow been released into Tyria once again, and the commander, with the aid of the allies old and new, navigated the perilous reaches of Janthir to defeat these otherworldly creatures. Victory was just within reach too, before Aura revealed with her dying breath that the door that she and her kin used to breach our realm remained wide open. In the second update of Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wild's Repentance, we chased the echo of an old acquaintance through the ruins of his people's demise as we searched for this open mist gate. Now, in the finale of Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds, we will reach the core of the Titan crisis once and for all. So we get another picture. That's really cool looking. But again, it looks very like with this like fleshy stuff, Realm of Tormenty, a little bit. This looks very green to be here. It looks kind of out of place, doesn't it? But yeah, and we get these like really interesting like stone slabs. I do love those a lot. Bavanisos. Each of the 3 survey teams that you helped comb through Mistburn Barrens completed the research and have come to the shared conclusion. Something vile awaits us within the depths of Bavanisos. When a path into the city proper is finally revealed at the start of Absolution, our final descent begins. Once a monument to Mersat victory, Bavanisos was built into the side of a great mountain. Its sprawling halls and twisting passages branch in every direction. However, the once opulent city is now crumbling with decay. When the door of Kamali was opened and the Titans spilled out into Tyria, Bavanisos was sieged by a bloody battle that took down one of Tyria's most powerful societies. Most of the living Mersat and attacking Titans were slaughtered. But despite their defeat and the city's abandonment, menacing magic still lingers inside of Bavanisos. Left alone for almost 300 years, this magic has mutated and warped with time. Interesting. So they're building us a picture of what Bavanisos, right? Like, feel it, guys. Feel the magic and the weird, macabre, surreal, like, kind of crazy space that's going to be. Anyways, as the grand finale of Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wild's experience, Bavanisos contains a climactic map-wide meta-event. You'll be working alongside factions supporting the Tyrian Alliance, such as Council Ludo from Radasum and a spirited guest from Divinity's Reach, Divinity's Reach's most elusive social club. And a spirited guest from Divinity's Reach's most elusive social club? Is this like a return of Farron? Is Farron coming back? Because a spirited guest really reminds me from a spirited guest from Divinity's Reach and a most elusive social club really sounds to me like that would be Farron. Is he gonna be popping back up? It'd be really funny. To fight your way to the Mist Gate at the city's heart. The meta contains 3 main lanes that players can participate in, where you'll face various obstacles and threats as you navigate the surreal landscape. What could possibly await you inside? Okay, So we get a little bit more. It looks like this is the outpost. These are the little code and flags. So it looks like this is where the actual outpost is happening. It looks like it looks like there's a char. It looks like a char down here. That's kind of sitting. He might be a vendor or something. So that is. It looks like this is where the outpost is. But I love the menacing statues here. That looks really cool. I love that a lot. We get like a Mersat mirror. Oh, it looks like a Coden down here. Yeah, it looks cool. Love it. Great lighting in that. New challenges await. The battle for Mount Balrior is about to get even more intense. In Absolution, we're adding the third and final Convergence's boss encounter as Aura, the Titan Imperatrix, known as the Steam Shrieker. At last... What? Oh my god. Whoa. Read that again. In Absolution, we're adding the third and final Convergence's boss encounter as Aura, the Titan Imperatrix, known as the Steam Shrieker, at last makes her appearance. Jeez. This Godspawn commands the scalding steam and choking geysers of the mountain, making her unending wrath truly something to be feared. If you fought Aura before, this encounter introduces some new mechanics to make this a fresh twist on the Mount Balrior experience. And for those seeking an even greater test of skill, we're also introducing challenge mode for Mount Balrior challenge mode for Mount Balrior convergences. I guess you could. Offering greater difficulty, sharper coordination checks, and even more rewarding spoils for those who triumph. That's always the thing, right? Like, how rewarding does it have to be to make it worthwhile for some people? Like, some people just like the challenge, but some people want to actually see what they can get out of it. So I don't know. Our newest fractal dungeon, Kinfall, also arrives on June 3rd. Step into the roles of a small band of lowland Khodan as they defend their homeland during the Icebrood invasion of northern Tyria. And as they hear the whispers of the legendary dragon Jormag, and as they hear, in response to player feedback with Kinfall, we've intentionally stepped back from the raid-like complexity of more recent fractals in favor of a streamlined and repeatable experience reminiscent of some of our earlier fractals. Oh my god, applause. Thank you. Yes, exactly what I'm looking for. Oh my god, I'm so excited now. I am so excited. If this is like an old school fractal, thank you, ArenaNet. I will be so excited to play it. The challenge mode for Kinfall will release 3 weeks later in our June 24th game update. So we get a challenge mode for it, which is cool, right? Like if you want that raid experience, you can do the challenge mode, right? But I want an old school like fractal. I'm so excited, you guys. Home improvement. In Absolution, we're doubling the homestead decoration cap to 2,000, giving builders... I heard that people were complaining about that, which is crazy to me that 1,000 pieces is not enough for you guys, but that shows the dedication that people have to this homesteading thing. Love it. Giving build, it's like absolutely insane to me to think, like, I have done nothing. You guys have seen my homestead. I took everything out and I barely placed anything. I don't care. I just like not at all for it. But for you guys that are builders, homestead like people that are love making their little like forests and fortresses and Halloween themed things and whatever, like this is great, right? Love it. And Dreamers, the space they've been craving. Players can train the new Grandmaster Handiwork or Crafting tier to increase the decoration limit by 500, and Deft Lahar will sell decoration limit increases to raise the cap by an additional 500. This release also introduces new decorations and adds 2 new resource nodes to Deft Lahar's inventory. But we're not stopping at structural upgrades. We're elevating the vibes as well. On June 3rd, the Blackline Trading Company will debut a brand new customization option that lets you change the appearance of your homestead sky. First up is a dazzling Aurora Borealis display that turns Hearth's glow into a northern dreamscape. Later this year, you'll also be able to personalize the entrance to your homestead with skins for your conjured doorway. All right, so this is really interesting. I love this. So this is going to be the new sky. You can have this really cool sky. Like the stuff they can do. Like I said, give us weather effects, ArenaNet. Give me like, leaves blowing down. Give me rain coming down. Give me lightning coming down, like in the background. Like, give me like snowfall, right? Give me fire raining from the sky. Give me I don't know. There's so many things. They could have like shooting stars. Like they could have all kinds of stuff to make this like look really cool. So this is a great step into making homesteads even better. And I love it. Not for myself, because I don't ever go in it. Literally, I use it to get to Janthir, to the Janthir region, and that's it. I'm like, and I hop out the gate. Like I just teleport in, hop out of the gate, I'm out. I don't care. But for those of you that love homesteading, I love this. This is awesome. This is so great. And then the doorway entrance, I guess this is gonna be another like, they're monetizing the crap out of it. I get it. It's probably gonna be another gem store item, but hey, for those of you that want a different doorway, you'll be able to get that. Look forward to even more updates to homesteads in our next expansion later this year. Homesteads are beginning to rival. So, for those of you questioning, are homesteads going to be abandoned? Apparently not. So, homesteads right now are bound to Janthir Wilds. But what is ArenaNet doing to make those relevant for later expansions? Well, they're clearly doing something, because it sets they're doing more homesteads or more updates to homesteads in the expansion that's coming later this year, which is fantastic. I love that they're giving us a little preview. Homesteads are beginning to rival fashion wars for the most expressive corner of Tira, and they really are, and it's great for the people that love this stuff. It's great. I think I'm whatever. I don't think it's wasted in any shape or form, but I also don't. I don't know. I don't think that. Yeah, I don't know. I just, it's not for me, but for those of you that are into it, I love that quality of life has the shortest thing. We've got a hefty round of quality of life updates coming your way in Absolution. From the Wizard's Portal Tome to hold your collection of portal scrolls to the endlessly efficient Wizard's Gobbler. This update is full of small changes that make biff and free up some needed inventory space. We'll dive into details in a dedicated blog later this week. Oh, that's cool. So they're going to talk about, so quality of life, really short paragraph, but there's enough changes for them to justify doing another blog post. Love it. So that means there's a lot coming. It looks like this portal tome is going to hold our collection of portal scrolls, which is fantastic because I'm using up like, 5-6 different slots for all the different portal scrolls that I have for like because I have like season 3, season 4, the Wizard's Tower. I have one for the Mistlock Sanctuary or whatever it's called, the Mistlock Observatory. What is it called? I forgot what it's called. The Mistlock Place. So it's kind of nice to have those spaces freed up because I've been running. I'm like I have the maximum shared spaces, and I'm like, I need more. This is not okay. So this is nice. And then Wizard's Gobbler means that probably the different gobblers that we're getting for the different festivals and stuff, that you probably will have one gobbler that will have all of the gobblers in it. So you'll probably have, like, you can add it to your Wizard's Gobbler, and then you will have, like, when you open the Wizard's Gobbler, you have the different gobblers that you can use. So that's also great because many people use the different gobblers. I do have some of the gobblers, so it'll probably go into my share. It's right now, none of them are in my shared inventory slots, but since I'm opening up spaces in my shared inventory slots, and I can put all the gobblers in one gobbler, I'm going to be putting those in my inventory slots. So I love it. Great changes. And I can't wait to read this quality of life blog post. I'm very excited for that. While Absolution marks the end of the Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds story arc, there's still plenty to look forward to in the months ahead while you wait the summer's news of our next expansion. Okay, so important stuff coming up right here, right now. It's not looking okay. It's not looking too crazy. But let's see. So we have Janthir. I'm just kind of like looking at this. So in June, we have the Absolution coming. Then Dragon Bash is happening. I don't know when. That's probably like, I'm guessing that's probably at the end of June, I think. Is that mid-June or end of June? I'm not sure. But yeah, anyways, that's coming. And then the Skills and Balance update. And then the Fractal Challenge for Kinfall. Challenge mode for Kinfall. And then in July, we get the expansion announcement. So they're already telling us in July they're going to be announcing the expansion. Then we're doing a Return to Secrets of the Obscure event. And we're doing a World vs. World Rush bonus event. And then in August, we're doing a PvP push beta event and Festival of the Four Winds. Now, and it says content and release dates are subject to change. Here's my thing. Okay, I just want to say, so June, July, August, September, October. What's going on with September, October? Why do we not have these on here? Well, that's kind of strange. So I guess in August we're gonna get another one of the, because this is not a lot. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, this is not a lot. So we're getting Absolution. We're getting Dragon Bash, which again, the festivals don't really count that much for like updates, right? So let's kind of like take this apart a little bit. So Skills and Balance update is always nice. The preview of it was very interesting. I gave my opinion on stream last night on some of the changes. If you guys want a more in-depth look, I can do that, but I haven't really like, I'm not that great at like build crafting and PvP and numbers thing and like all these things that, you know, I don't really like. There's certain things I'm like, oh, that's cool, I love the changes, and my opinion on it, my base opinion on it was that I loved the direction that they're taking with this balance update, because the balance update for the last like year and a half have been just like a numbers game where it's like, oh, okay, we adjusted the power scale, the power coefficient, then we adjusted the this number, and we adjusted this number, but they didn't technically look at the like mechanics of things. They didn't look at different weapons, but they're now doing that. They're now moving into the right direction. It's still not fully where I want it to be, but like, you know, we're getting like a Necro Staff update, which is like unheard. I'm like, oh my god, we're actually getting some changes to some weapons that haven't seen changes in 12 years. So I'm excited for that, right? Like that's kind of nice. But again, that's kind of less like balance update. That's not really like content. That's not really like, I don't think that this balance update is that big to really have it as like, oh my god, this is coming, right? Then we're getting a challenge mode. So challenge mode to something that's already out by that time, right? So in June, pretty much the big thing that we're getting is the Absolution, which does have a lot of stuff to it, right? Like it has a new map with a meta event and a fractal, and we're gonna get a challenge mode for the fractal. So that's quite a bit of stuff that we're getting there, right? Like I think it's gonna be a pretty decent release. You know, it really depends on like the rewards as well. Like what's the meta event reward? What's the, you know, fractal, like what can we earn there? Like how's the lore, how's the like immersion, how's the like, for me personally at least, you know, it's like, you know, is there going to be a lot of books to read about? Is there a lot of like things to theorize on, hints to the future, stuff like that, right? So that's going to be very exciting. I'm very excited for Absolution. The announcement, that's going to be very interesting, but then we have a return to Secrets of the Obscure and a World vs. World bonus rush. So, or a bonus, a rush bonus. World vs. World rush bonus event. Neither of these are really, the World vs. World rush events are fun, but they're really nothing to write home about. Like, none of these bonus events are really, like, that crazy where it's like, oh my god, this is happening, right? This is just kind of like, whatever. So, you know, the last Return to I didn't even do. Return to End of Dragons I didn't even do because it just, the rewards were kind of and it's like, I know that you could get mystic coins from it, but I was like, I didn't feel like I was driven enough to do it. You know what I mean? Like I was just like, you know, I'm not really like, I don't know. I wasn't really feeling it that much. So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna skip it. So I don't know, you know, it really depends. I might do the Return to Secrets of the Obscure because I did for the most part enjoy it, but it still remains to be seen like what what the like rewards are and what the drive is to doing these, you know. Expansion announcement is gonna be the exciting part, and then here another push beta, which is fine, you know. I mean, that's a couple of hours of like trying that out, and then Festival of the Four Winds. So it's very bare. I mean, it's very bare. There's nothing crazy. I didn't expect anything crazy for these 3 months, so I kind of like that they're only doing these 3 months, because then in September, October, like September, it seems to be this really weird spot, because September is when we're not getting anything, right? We're supposed to be getting I think they're reserving September as the month where they're gonna give us all the info on the next expansion. I think that's what, like, we're gonna get the announcement in July, and then they're gonna take like a month break. You know, the one thing that they didn't mention here is that's when the birthday happens as well. It's gonna be birthday, what, 13? Yeah, birthday 13. Um, so in August they're gonna give us birthday 13, right? So, and they're gonna be kind of, um, you know, we're gonna be doing those things or whatever. They're gonna be dealing with the post beta event that's probably gonna be happening earlier, and then the Festival of the Four Winds, and then going into September, that's probably when all the announcements are gonna be happening, right? That, or not announcements, but the previews, right? That's when we're gonna get the trailers. That's when we're gonna get probably the ArenaNet partners doing like cool little videos, you know, fly throughs and like map explorations and whatever else they have, right? Like, which is one of the parts that I love with this new cadence of the releases of the, you know, the new expansion releases or whatever. It's really, really cool that they have these partners go in and do that stuff. I love it. I think it's really, really cool. So but anyways, so we have, yeah, so they kind of give us the they haven't really announced when this is going to happen. So Dragon Bash is going to be June 17th to July 8th. In the middle of that is going to be the challenge mode and the skills update. And then Return to 15 to 29 and 22 to 29 is going to be the World vs. World Rush. So we got 2 weeks of the Return to, 1 week of the Rush event, and then sometime in between that, or maybe before that, they don't know. I'm guessing this will probably happen, like, it's probably going to happen on like June 22nd or something like that. I feel like it's going to be like right in the middle of all of this happening. I think it would be perfect time to do that, because people that are looking for like the new expansion or whatever, they're gonna maybe want to jump right into Guild Wars 2. And if they're doing it early in July and then there's nothing going on in Guild Wars 2, that might be kind of disappointing to some people. So doing it in the middle of a Return to event, as well as the start of the World vs. World Rush, that might be kind of nice, right? So having like July 22nd be also the announcement date, where they're announcing it, and then you have 1 week of both of these still going on. That'd be really cool, right? And then we have the beta, and then this at the same time. This is early August. This is starting, but then they're doing what is that, 3 weeks? They have 3 weeks of the Festival of the Four Winds. So it's, I think this is 3 weeks of Dragon Bash and then 3 weeks of Festival of the Four Winds, which is fine. Stay tuned to our channel throughout this week and next, as we share this week and next, as we share a deeper look at what's coming with Absolution. They want to do something next week, Monday, I guess. We get another couple of pictures here. This is the Kinfall fractal, and yeah, and we get another look at the new map with a Steam Shrieker Titan spawn. Weird how they have like these. This is a bloodstone, but there's like an inscription, it looks like. Is this translatable? I don't think that's translatable, but looks weird, doesn't it? Looks kind of strange. But anyways, yeah, so that's it pretty much, the look there for you guys. So yeah, that was pretty much. I know this is a very long video, so if you stuck around with me for a long time, for this long time, I really appreciate you guys. So it's gonna be very interesting to see where Guild Wars 2 is headed, right? We have the we have the cloud that's Guild Wars 3 always hovering over our heads, right? Where everyone's like, ooh, what's going on with Guild Wars 3 up there? You know, it's always like, is it gonna rain or not? Are we gonna get that information rain or not? You know, it's always like very like, are they going to announce that at some point? Is the next expansion going to lead into it? Like, it's very, you know. So the next expansion is going to be very interesting, because I feel like, you know, they talked about Secrets of the Obscure and they talked about how they learned from it. But I feel like many people aren't very super excited with the new expansion, like, cadence and model as is. Even with the changes that they have done. So it's like, is it going to get better? You know, what are, like, are they going to do another, like, this is what we learned, you know, and it's going to be very exciting to see where Absolution ends and where the next expansion is going to go, right? Like, are we going to get a hint to that? I'm excited for July for sure. So if you guys are interested in hanging out with me and finding out more about these things. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Yeah, it's been a long, this video is super long. So later on tonight, I will probably be streaming. It'll probably be a little bit of a later stream, I'm thinking. But I kind of want to discuss if you guys had like any ideas or theories or anything like that. So I'll be live on my Twitch channel, which is O'Reilly, same as my YouTube channel. It's the same icon. I'm on Kick as well if you guys are like Kick users, and on as always on YouTube, of course, as well. So we're gonna kind of discuss that tonight. I kind of want to hang out in Guild Wars 2 tonight. Not really have any goals for it, but I just kind of want to sit and see how people feel and kind of like I'm gonna take today to kind of think about some of the stuff that we've learned and kind of see you know, kind of talk about the future and talk about like the next release and the next expansion and like all these things, right? So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. All right, bye guys.